So there's something that's been going on that I haven't really talked about. Um, Yvonne pointed me to an article. She read about it, and it's an ongoing dispute in hockey that most fans are going to say, "Who cares?" Why I haven't bothered doing a video about it. And when I did the Haley Wickenheiser video a couple months ago, and I was kind of prodded into that one a little bit. I mean, I wanted to talk about her, and nobody watches them. Women's hockey players, I have a lot of respect for. And when the girls in Montreal won their trophy a couple weeks ago, I would have been totally down for doing a report on it, but there's no interest. So, we're in a weird spot here. Fan interest in women's hockey is what drives USA Hockey to decide where their money goes. I have nothing against women's hockey players at all. I think women's hockey players are fine. I've watched and posted videos on Wednesday Hockey, which shows that girls can skate as well as boys at a certain age, and they can certainly shoot, and they can certainly score. And I've watched adult rec games where there's women on the ice, and you wouldn't really know if you didn't see the pigtail or the ponytail at the back. You wouldn't know it was a girl. But at the professional level, and when it comes to the Olympic level, there is a marked difference in the game. And fans want to watch men play hockey. Personally, for me, I'm willing to watch both. And during the Olympics, I watch the Canadian women's team quite a bit. But if Canada's not in the world, not in the gold medal game, I don't really care. And I wouldn't. Now, there is some of that with men's too. But if, say, the women's final was between Russia and the States, I'd be like, I don't care if the States wins. If the women's or the men's final was between Russia and the States, I'd be like, I want to see what happens here. Does Ovi get an Olympic medal? This is going to be big. And I don't know if women's hockey isn't marketing itself or if it's just that women's sports are not that popular. And yet at the same time, you look at tennis, you look at golf, women are making really good money in both sports. I watch women's tennis more than I watch men's, and I watch women's curling more than I watch men's. I just find it more entertaining. Women's curling, there's a lot more strategy involved. They don't have the same power in the game that the men do. The men, it's just smashing rocks. For the most part, not completely, but I see a lot of ends of curling that all of the men are really, really good. They don't miss their shots. So, I find the women miss more than the men do, and it actually makes for a better game. Whereas in a team game like hockey, I guess baseball, basketball, football, missing isn't something that you're going to go, wow, I'm really glad all those shots were missed. So I don't know. I don't know what the fix is. I guess the issue for me is these women should make a living playing hockey. They should. They're Olympic athletes. They're the best in the world. They should be able to make a living. And I'm not talking about millions of dollars, but I'm talking about look at what the women's basketball has done. The NBA pairs up with the Women's National Basketball Association, and they do relatively well. I'm kind of surprised the NHL isn't willing to do the same thing for women in hockey. Or maybe it's never been discussed. But having a women's hockey league, I honestly think, is a good thing. And if you pair it up with the NHL, it's an even better thing. I found it weird that the Montreal team, the women's team, wears jerseys with pink on them. Found that kind of weird. And if you're going, well, it's a women's game. That's one of the things that women kind of rail against. They're like, well, wait, we'll never put a pink jersey on a man. So I can understand USA Hockey saying, I don't know, we don't really want to pay these girls what they're worth. But they went through this with the soccer program too. Where I have a major issue with USA Hockey is saying, all right, well, if these women are all going to sit out, we're just going to bring in replacement players. Oh yeah, replacement players worked out really well in the NFL, and when the NHL even thought about it, that went over really, really well. And I'm thinking back to '94 here. I'm pretty sure there were rumors that the NHL was considering replacement players. Replacement players are a joke, and the sad part is that you're always kind of remembered. I would watch an NFL game and they talk about something and go, yeah, blah, blah, blah's got 2 sacks today. He's having a really good year. He was one of the replacement players during the last strike. It was sort of like it was a point of confusion. Like he was a replacement guy. And there has to be on some level, if you're playing with replacements, you're taking a stand for something that they should feel passionate about too. And NFL, I can understand replacements more than I can in this situation. The replacements in this situation are barely getting any money either. I mean, when I see, women being paid $700 for a month, you can't make that's not a living. And for these women who have, kids and families, that's not a living. If there was more money in women's sports, there'd be more women playing it, thus tennis being as big as it is. Serena Williams is a world-class athlete. Nobody will take that away from her. Um, it's crazy to me that we're in 2017 and we're still discussing whether or not women's sports are really a worthwhile thing to watch and support. And if there was a women's hockey league team here, I would go to games and support them, even if I was bored out of my skull watching the games or didn't stay for the whole game because I had to get up for work and I didn't feel like sticking around to the end. They're still going to get my money for that butt in the seat. And I'm not sure how they go about it. I mean, if it's a matter of, well, there'd have to be some hot chicks. Yeah, there's some really good looking girls that play hockey. Really good looking girls that play hockey. And they don't play that up, which is both good and bad. It's good because if you make them look like glorified ice girls, people are going to disrespect them and disregard them even more. But if you don't play up some of their looks, you're going to have guys in the back going, probably look like dudes anyways. Yeah, I'm not watching a bunch of chicks look like dudes. It's not interesting to me. They're not even good enough to play junior hockey for Prince George or Victoria or any of them. Change the channel. So I don't know. I don't know how you do this. I really don't. But the USA Hockey fight is the same fight that the Women's Hockey League was fighting not that long ago. Where the Women's Hockey League was like, we really want to stay in business, but in order to stay in business, all you girls are getting pay cuts. You're all taking pay cuts. And they already weren't getting paid a lot of money. So how do you fix it? And as I said, to me, it's simple. The NHL comes forward and says, well, we can help. I'm not talking about like a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to say we'll help a league that already exists. There's already teams in Montreal and Toronto and Boston. Big markets are covered. All you have to do is step in and go, yeah, we'll help. We'll pair up with these leagues. And then by extension, you go to USA Hockey, Canada Hockey, and all the Olympics, and you go, all right, we're really going to push the women's game to the forefront. And I don't know if there's an appetite in the NHL to do that for the very reason that for me to do this video is what's the point? It's not me saying that. It's the amount of views these videos get. It's the amount of revenue they generate. When I just talk about women, there's crickets. And it's a matter of how you fix it, how you turn that around. And I don't know that there's an easy answer. But for the women who are sitting out, the World Tournament. If they don't get what they want, I salute them. I support them. But I don't know if they're going to get what they want. Because a big part of going on strike and lockouts and all this stuff that happens in sports these days, public pressure plays a big part. Is there public pressure on USA Hockey to give the women what they want? No. No. For the same reason that I can keep referring them to as girls in this video and nobody's going to say anything. Until I just mention it and I say, wait, yeah, they're women. And they're the best at what they do. And they can't make a living. Something's wrong there. Women's hockey's come a long way over the last 30 years. I remember the first time that I watched a women's hockey game in Canada just beat the crap out of, I don't know if it was Sweden or Finland, but they absolutely whooped them. And they were wearing pink jerseys. Team Canada, white and pink. And they wore them with pride and they whooped everybody. And it was like full-grown adults against 6-year-olds that just learned how to skate. It was kind of embarrassing. You'd watch them go an entire game allowing maybe 5 shots and getting 70 themselves. It was just insane. I watched it, but I don't know how far the game's come since then. Other countries are catching up in terms of talent. Other countries have women playing hockey to get into it and to be better than that joke that it was at the late 80s. But the problem is there still isn't the fan interest there. And it's too bad because Canada and the States, the women's hockey program, it is the best feud in international hockey right now. They hate each other. And at this year's World Championships, it may be Team Canada against a team of replacements. And that would be too bad. And hopefully people can get past their apathy and see what's going on here and figure a way out around it. Because USA Hockey, I don't think they have an appetite to get around it. The Olympic Committee isn't going to get involved. It doesn't affect them one way or the other. They don't really care. Women's hockey isn't a big cash cow for them. So, we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you're browsing your way through and going, wow, women's hockey? Yeah, subscribe and like because I talk about as much to do with hockey as I can, including this. A topic that usually doesn't garner any interest, but I will discuss it anyways. Because it is an interesting topic. Much like the concussion videos I do that don't get the views either, but I still do them. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all again soon.